Have you ever wondered if you're more attractive than you think? Not just physically, but something deeper. Something people feel when they're around you. Or maybe you've had moments where strangers treated you with unexpected kindness or sudden hostility, and you left wondering, what just happened? You told yourself, it must be a coincidence. You doubted the possibility that you could be deeply attractive without even trying. But according to Carl Jung, attraction isn't simply about looks. It's not just the symmetry of your face, the curve of your smile, or the clothes you wear. Jung believed that true attraction comes from something far more mysterious. Something alive inside you, whether you see it or not. In his lesser-known writings, Jung said, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed." In other words, real attraction isn't just visual. It's transformational. It's energetic. It's the silent electricity you create when your soul brushes against another. Think about it. Have you ever had a stranger pour out their life story to you after 5 minutes? Or noticed how some people mimic your expressions without even realizing it? Or how animals and small children gravitate to you, trusting you without a second thought? These are not accidents. They're signals. Signals that your presence is doing something to the world around you. Even if you feel invisible some days. Even if you can list 100 reasons why you think you're ordinary. Your unconscious mind, your true self, might be broadcasting something extraordinary. Today, we're going to dive into the 12 powerful signs that you are far more attractive than you believe. Attraction, on a level that Carl Jung would say touches not just the senses, but the very fabric of the unconscious mind. Stay close, because by the end of this journey, you might realize you've been underestimating your own magic all along. 1. People stare at you, and you don't know why. You're standing in line at a coffee shop, or maybe you're sitting quietly on a park bench, lost in your own thoughts. And you notice it, a stranger looking at you just a little too long. Not in a rude way. Not necessarily even in a flirtatious way. Just a kind of quiet, fascinated attention you can feel. You start wondering, is there something on my face? Did I dress weird today? Why are they staring? Here's the real reason. Your presence is speaking louder than your appearance. And people are picking up on it, even if you're completely unaware. Carl Jung once wrote, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed." When someone locks eyes with you, holds their gaze on you, it's because something about you reacts with something inside of them. It's chemical, it's energetic, it's unconscious. They might not even know what it is. They just know they feel something. In real life, it's subtle but powerful. Think about it. Have you ever found yourself drawn to someone across a crowded room, and you couldn't explain why? They weren't the most glamorous or conventionally beautiful person there, but there was something about them, an energy, a story behind their eyes, a quiet, magnetic pull. That's exactly what happens to you too. Without trying, without performing, you create a subtle emotional shift in the people around you. They sense your depth, your complexity, your authenticity, even if they can't articulate it. And because it's so unusual in a world obsessed with superficial signals, it stops them. They stare. They try to figure you out, without even realizing they're doing it. You don't see it because it feels normal to you. Here's the paradox. You don't notice your own magnetic presence, because you're used to living inside it. It's like trying to smell the scent of your own home. To you, it's invisible. To everyone else, it's unforgettable. When Jung talked about the unconscious mind influencing our relationships, he wasn't talking about how white your teeth are or how perfectly your hair falls. He was talking about archetypes, hidden emotional truths that people feel at a soul level. You might carry the archetype of the wise one, the rebel, the healer, or the muse, without even knowing it. And others, without understanding why, are drawn to you for those very reasons. They see something rare, something they didn't even realize they were searching for. And that's why the stares happen. Not because there's something wrong with you, but because for just a moment, someone's unconscious mind says, "There's something about you I recognize, something I need." And once you understand that, you'll start seeing those small moments, those lingering looks, not as something to feel self-conscious about, but as quiet proof of a beauty that goes far deeper than surface attraction. But the signs don't stop there. In fact, the next one might explain why people react to you so intensely, even when you haven't said a word. 2. Strangers are either extremely nice or weirdly hostile. When you possess an unconscious magnetism, a real inner attractiveness, you'll notice something strange. People seem to split into two camps the moment they meet you. Some are instantly kind, warm, and drawn to you. Others, for no clear reason, act defensive, cold, or even subtly aggressive. And it often leaves you wondering, what did I even do wrong? Carl Jung once said, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed." You aren't just a passive observer in people's lives. You are an emotional catalyst, sparking reactions, stirring energies they didn't know they carried. And when your energy is strong, even if you're unaware of it, people's unconscious minds react before their conscious minds can catch up. Here's what it looks like in real life. You walk into a coffee shop. A stranger you've never met flashes a huge, genuine smile at you, almost like they recognize something about you. You feel an instant warmth between you, even without exchanging a word. Minutes later, another person glares at you for no reason, maybe even bumps into you in line, acting annoyed. Neither reaction has much to do with you personally. It's about what your energy awakens inside them. Some people feel inspired by your presence. It reminds them of something beautiful or free within themselves. Others feel threatened, because your authenticity highlights what they've buried or lost. It's not about you being too much or not enough. It's about them confronting parts of themselves they aren't ready to see. Jung's concept of projection explains this perfectly. He believed that what people can't accept in themselves, they tend to project onto others, both their dreams and their fears. You might unknowingly become a canvas for someone else's hopes, insecurities, or unresolved wounds. Remind them unconsciously of something powerful, their lost dreams, their hidden shame, their deep longing for something real. And depending on where they are in their journey, they'll either embrace you with awe or reject you out of fear. In short, if you notice strangers acting oddly extreme toward you, unusually friendly or strangely cold, it's a massive sign that you're carrying an inner light that touches people's deepest layers. It's not about being liked by everyone. It's about being felt by everyone. And that's far rarer and far more powerful than surface-level beauty ever could be. 3. You make strong first impressions. You walk into a room. Maybe it's a new job interview, a party, even a random cafe. And without saying a word, people notice you. The air shifts slightly. Conversations pause for half a second. It's subtle but undeniable. Most people assume making a strong first impression is about looking perfect, wearing the right thing, saying the right line. But Carl Jung saw it differently. He said, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed." It's not about your outfit. It's not even about your words. It's about the invisible chemical reaction between your being and theirs. When you show up in your authentic energy, not trying to impress, not performing, you create a spark that people feel on a primal level. Think about it. Have you ever been introduced to someone, and even before they spoke a full sentence, you just knew there was something special about them? Maybe you felt drawn to them, curious, excited, or even slightly intimidated. That's what you trigger in others, and you probably don't even realize it. Here's the thing. Most people spend their first impression pretending, masking nerves, performing confidence. But when you walk in carrying real integrated energy, the good, the messy, the real, you unconsciously give others permission to connect at a deeper level, and that is magnetic. It's why after a 5-minute conversation someone might say, "I feel like I've known you forever." Or why after a random interaction at a coffee shop, someone remembers you months later and says, "You have such a presence about you." It's not about being loud. It's not about being the center of attention. It's about being centered in yourself. And according to Jung, this unconscious transmission of energy is far more powerful than any deliberate image you try to project. It's real, it's raw, and it's why people feel changed, even if only slightly, after crossing your path. 4. People overshare with you instantly. Have you ever been standing in line for coffee, and suddenly, the person next to you is telling you about their breakup? Or you sit down at a party, and within minutes someone's unloading their life story, their hopes, their fears, things they barely even tell their closest friends. It's not random. It's not just being nice. It's a sign of something rare. your emotional resonance. Carl Jung once said, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed." When people meet you, something in your presence sparks that chemical reaction. It's not about what you say. It's about the energy you bring. Your presence feels safe, authentic, and profoundly human. You broadcast a silent message without realizing it. It's okay to be real here. You won't be judged. And in a world full of masks and performances, that is magnetic beyond words. Real life example. Imagine you're at a work event. Everyone is making small talk. The usual surface level conversations about the weather, the commute, weekend plans. Then you meet someone, and within minutes, they're telling you about the dream job they were too afraid to chase, or the divorce they're still quietly grieving. You didn't ask, you didn't probe, you just listened, really listened, and something in them trusted you instantly. That's a hallmark of deep unconscious attractiveness. You make people feel seen, maybe for the first time in a long time. In Jungian psychology, when you are in touch with your own deeper self, even if you don't fully realize it, you send out signals of authenticity and acceptance. People unconsciously sense that you aren't projecting a fake persona. You're not hiding behind social scripts. You are simply there, present and open, and it gives them silent permission to drop their guard too. This is why people confide in you. This is why they share their raw, unedited selves without fear. Your attractiveness is soul deep. It's not something you flaunt. It's something you are. Often, people who carry this energy don't realize how powerful it is, because they're so used to being the listener, the comforter, the quiet center in the storm. But make no mistake, this kind of emotional magnetism is rare, and it's one of the most potent forms of attraction there is. And the beautiful irony is, the very sensitivity that makes you doubt your own glow is the exact reason why you are unforgettable to others. But emotional resonance is just one layer of true attractiveness. There's even more hidden beneath the surface. And next, we're going even deeper. 5. You're often complimented on odd things. Maybe you've noticed this. People don't just say you're pretty or you're handsome. Instead, they say things like, "There's something about you." Your laugh is contagious. You have such a calming presence. You light up a room without even trying. These are not surface compliments. They are soul compliments. And they reveal something Jung spoke about often, the invisible forces that shape human attraction. Carl Jung once said, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed." When someone compliments you on your energy, your voice, your presence, they're reacting to an invisible chemical reaction happening between your inner world and theirs. It's not just about what you look like. It's about what your very existence awakens inside them. Think about it. Have you ever been in a room where someone glanced at you, then couldn't stop smiling, even though you hadn't said a word? That's not about your hairstyle or outfit. That's your emotional frequency resonating with them. Or maybe you've had a casual conversation with someone, and later they tell you, "You made my whole day better," even though you were just being yourself. They're not reacting to how you look. They're reacting to how you make them feel. And that feeling, comfort, inspiration, joy, mystery, is infinitely more powerful than physical appearance alone. It's chemistry without words. It's a transformation at the soul level. In Jungian psychology, these compliments on intangible qualities suggest your true self. What Jung called the self with a capital S is shining through. Not the mask you wear for society, the persona, but the deeper radiant essence that makes you uniquely you. When that self comes forward, even subtly, people sense it. They feel more alive around you, often without knowing why. It's rare. It's magnetic. And it's one of the purest signs that you are far more attractive than you realize. So the next time someone compliments something unusual about you, don't brush it off. Don't dismiss it as random. It's a glimpse into the powerful effect you have on the world. An effect you were born to create, not one you have to force. And ironically, the less you try to control it, the more undeniable it becomes. 6. People copy your behavior without realizing it. Have you ever noticed, after spending time with someone, they start picking up your phrases? Maybe they start using your slang, laughing the way you laugh, or even mimicking your body language without realizing it. At first it might seem random, but it's not. Carl Jung observed something powerful about human behavior. The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. When people unconsciously find you attractive, not just physically, but energetically. Their psyche responds like a chemical reaction. They don't just like you. They merge with your frequency. This kind of mirroring is subtle but profound. It's the unconscious mind's way of saying, I feel drawn to you. I want to feel more like you. Real life examples. You share a joke, and suddenly they're telling it like it's their own. You casually mention a book you love, and a week later, they're quoting it too. You wear your jacket a certain way, and next time you meet, guess what? They've adjusted theirs almost exactly the same. It's not about imitation for approval. It's unconscious alignment. Their psyche feels the warmth, the authenticity, the presence you carry, and wants more of it. Jung believed that this synchronicity, this unconscious copying, is one of the deepest ways people reveal hidden admiration. It's far more meaningful than a compliment, because it bypasses thought entirely. Their mind isn't deciding to copy you. Their soul is reaching for something it finds magnetic. Most people miss this signal because it's not loud. It's not dramatic. It's in the small, quiet ways someone leans closer to you without noticing. How they start matching your tone, your pace, your gestures. How they unconsciously weave pieces of you into their own self-expression. It's easy to overlook, but it's one of the purest signs that your natural presence, your individuated self, is deeply irresistibly attractive. And the wildest part? You don't have to perform. You don't have to impress. You simply have to be. The next time someone starts picking up your habits, your humor, or your energy, don't brush it off. See it for what it is. A quiet, undeniable mirror of your hidden radiance. 7. Animals and children are drawn to you. You're standing at a family gathering, and without even trying, the little ones circle around you. They pull at your hand, show you their toys, or simply sit beside you in total trust. You walk through a park, and someone's dog, completely ignoring its owner's calls, trots over and rests its head on your knee. You don't say anything special. You don't do anything flashy. Yet something about you makes the purest beings in the world feel safe, connected, seen. Carl Jung once said, "The healthy man does not torture others. Generally, it is the tortured who turn into torturers." This lesser-quoted line reminds us, those who carry unresolved pain often radiate chaos without realizing it. But those who have faced their inner wounds, or who carry a soul striving toward wholeness, aim at peace. Animals and children don't listen to words. They listen to energy. They feel what adults have learned to ignore. They sense if your inner world is safe enough for their own innocence to approach without fear. It's not about being perfect. It's about being true. When a child laughs uncontrollably in your presence, when a shy cat suddenly curls up on your lap, when a dog chooses to lie at your feet instead of chasing distractions, you're witnessing a rare kind of attraction. The attraction of an integrated soul in a world full of masks. Your authenticity becomes magnetic to those who are still too young or too wild to wear any. Most people never even realize the power they carry when this happens. They shrug it off. Oh, kids just like me, or animals are funny around me. But from a Jungian lens, it's something much deeper. It's a living signal that parts of you, the intuitive, instinctive, nurturing parts, are alive and quietly shining. In real life, these moments often happen when you're not trying at all. You're relaxed, you're present, you're being yourself without defenses, and without even knowing it. The most sensitive beings on earth recognize you as home. 8. Your presence changes the mood of a room. You've probably experienced it. You walk into a room and feel an immediate shift in energy. The atmosphere relaxes, or perhaps the conversation takes on a different tone. People stop what they're doing, glance over, or even smile. It's as if your presence naturally draws the energy of the room toward you, without you lifting a finger. Now let's explore why this happens. Jung would say it's not just about how you look or speak. It's something deeper. The projection of your unconscious mind. Your psychic energy is affecting the environment around you, whether you realize it or not. Carl Jung's theory of the collective unconscious goes beyond personal experience. He believed that, at a deep level, all humans share certain archetypes, symbols, and emotional patterns that transcend individual life stories. This means that when you walk into a room, you're not just bringing yourself. You're tapping into an ancient well of shared human experience. When you enter a space, your presence often resonates with these collective patterns. The way you carry yourself, your confidence, your authenticity, your sense of peace, can stir something within the group, even if they can't name it. This psychic resonance changes the energy, creating a shift in mood that feels almost magnetic. Let's imagine you're at a family gathering. The energy is tense, with people caught in old grievances and unresolved drama. You walk in, perhaps feeling a little unsure, but then you settle into the room. You don't try to fix anything or change anyone. You simply exist, fully present, calm, and centered. Soon, people soften. A difficult conversation shifts. A sense of tranquility spreads. This is the unconscious field that Jung talked about. A field of psychic energy that we all interact with. Your grounded energy can act as a stabilizer, a force that brings clarity and harmony. You don't need to say a word. Your being alters the environment. That's the power of deep, unconscious attraction. It's an unspoken leadership, where your presence sets the tone without effort. Think about that one colleague who doesn't need to be the loudest in the room, yet they somehow command attention when they speak. Their presence doesn't demand validation. It simply exists, steady and assured. They walk into the office with an energy that says, "I belong here." You may find yourself subconsciously drawn to them, even if they're not the most vocal or outgoing. Why? Jung said that when we are fully integrated with our unconscious selves, we carry an energy of authenticity. And authenticity is magnetic. It invites others to relax, to trust, and to be more of themselves. In real life, this could be the colleague who quietly encourages collaboration, making others feel at ease without a single power play. They don't need to show off their intellect or assert dominance, because their energy speaks for them. Here's a powerful and less commonly cited Jungian quote to reflect on. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. This speaks directly to the heart of why your presence is so magnetic. When you're fully yourself, unapologetically and without pretense, the collective unconscious picks up on that authenticity. Others are drawn to it like moths to a flame, even if they can't explain why. When we talk about changing the mood of a room, it's about the integration of your inner world with the outer. Jung believed that true individuation, the process of becoming your whole authentic self, naturally aligns your inner and outer worlds. As a result, you stop projecting mixed messages. There's no disconnect between who you are and who you present. In simple terms, when you are at peace with yourself, the world around you becomes at peace too. This doesn't mean you're always perfect, or that you don't have struggles. But it does mean you've stopped trying to fit into molds you don't belong to. You radiate an energy of wholeness, and that's contagious. Think of that one friend who can walk into any social gathering and instantly lighten the mood. They don't even try to entertain. They just exist in their full, authentic self. They may not be the center of attention, but when they speak, everyone listens. When they smile, people smile with them. This isn't about charming others. It's about being comfortable with your own energy and allowing that to reverberate in the space around you. Their magnetism is a natural byproduct of their own inner harmony. And that is the most attractive thing of all. As we continue, we'll see how your energy, this unspoken presence, is one of the clearest signs of your own hidden attraction. It's not always loud or flashy, but it is undeniable. 9. People remember you. Even after one meeting, you meet someone once. Just a few minutes, a passing interaction, and months later, they greet you like an old friend. They remember your name, your smile, something you said. Meanwhile, you barely remember the encounter. Why does this happen? Because real attraction isn't just about physical beauty. It's about impression energy. A psychic signature you leave on others without even trying. Carl Jung wrote, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed." When you have strong inner energy, when you are unconsciously authentic, you create a chemical reaction in the soul of others. Even brief moments with you leave emotional fingerprints on their unconscious mind. Picture this. You're at a coffee shop waiting for your drink. You smile at the barista, say thank you warmly, maybe joke about the weather. It's casual, just a few seconds. Yet weeks later, that same barista spots you across town and waves excitedly like you're an old friend. Or maybe you sit next to someone during a flight. You exchange a few genuine words, no forced small talk. You forget about it. But a year later, you cross paths again, and they remember exactly what you were wearing, or the story you shared. You're leaving more than just a memory. You're leaving a feeling. People might not remember every word you said, but they remember how they felt in your presence. Your authenticity bypasses surface memory and touches their deeper psyche. The level Jung called the collective unconscious, where raw human emotion lives. This is why someone can meet dozens of people in a week and forget most of them. But you, they remember, because you didn't just exist in the room. You mattered. This kind of magnetism isn't about being loud, flashy, or trying to impress. It's about resonance, a vibration you send out just by being fully yourself. And often, you're the last one to realize you're doing it. 10. You're often told you have kind eyes or a beautiful soul. At first, it sounds like a casual compliment. You have such kind eyes. There's something about your soul. You seem so genuine. And you might think, that's nice, but what does it even mean? Because unlike direct comments about your looks, these observations seem vague, almost mystical, but they aren't random. They are the clearest signs that your inner self is leaking through. Your true self, the one Carl Jung said was hidden behind the persona, the mask we show the world. Jung wrote, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." When someone sees your kind eyes or feels your beautiful soul, they aren't just noticing your physical appearance. They're sensing the parts of you that you don't consciously flaunt. Your compassion, your resilience, your emotional depth. And here's what makes it even more powerful. You can't fake this kind of attraction. You can't put it on like makeup. You can't rehearse it like a speech. It's raw. It's real. And that's why it hits people harder than any surface-level beauty ever could. Real-life situations that show this. You're at a party. You're not even trying to stand out. Maybe you're half listening to a conversation, sipping your drink, and someone crosses the room just to say, "I don't know why, but you seem like someone I'd trust." They can't explain it, they just feel it. You're at work, or even at a grocery store, and a stranger suddenly opens up about their struggles, telling you things they've probably never told anyone. Why? Because your emotional presence, not your clothes, not your smile, but your presence, made them feel safe, even online, in texts, voice notes, video calls. People pick up on it. They tell you that you radiate good energy without even meeting you in person. Jung explained that most people are trapped inside their persona, the mask they wear to survive socially. But if you've started to unconsciously integrate parts of your shadow, your flaws, your pain, your hidden gifts, then you're showing a more whole version of yourself to the world. And wholeness is magnetic. Wholeness is what makes people pause mid-sentence just to look into your eyes. Wholeness is what makes someone say, "There's something about you," even if they can't explain what it is. Often, the people with the kindest eyes have endured the deepest pain. They know how fragile life can be. They know how heavy invisible burdens can feel. And somehow, without trying, they carry that understanding in their gaze, in their smile, in their silence. That's not just attractiveness. That's transcendence. And the world can feel it, even if you can't. Now imagine what happens when you finally start seeing in yourself what others already sense. When you stop hiding, stop doubting, and start owning that quiet soul-deep power. Because there's even more to uncover. And the next signs go even deeper. 11. People try to impress you without you saying a word. You might be sitting quietly at a party, not trying to steal the spotlight. Yet somehow, people start listing their job titles, bragging about their travels, dropping hints about their accomplishments. At first, you might wonder, why are they telling me all this? Here's the hidden truth. When you radiate unconscious attractiveness, you activate a subtle, primal instinct in others. The instinct to seek approval from someone they admire. Carl Jung once said, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed." When someone with deep magnetic presence enters a room, people unconsciously react. They either feel inspired to rise to the occasion, or they feel insecure and try to prove their worth. This doesn't mean you're arrogant. In fact, it often happens when you are the least aware of your own impact. Imagine this. You're catching up with friends at a coffee shop. You're just talking about your day, nothing fancy. Then, someone at the table starts loudly mentioning their promotion, their exotic vacation, the famous people they've met. You didn't ask, you didn't show off. Yet somehow your very presence triggered their need to measure up. It happens in dating too. You meet someone for the first time. Instead of having a relaxed conversation, they seem eager to impress you, showing off, trying hard to seem interesting. Not because you asked them to, but because something about you naturally raises the emotional stakes. It's important to realize this behavior isn't really about you. It's about what your energy mirrors back to them. Their hopes, their insecurities, their desire to be seen as valuable. In Jungian psychology, this phenomenon ties back to the idea of projection, where we unconsciously attribute our own unacknowledged feelings onto others. Your unconscious attractiveness becomes a kind of psychological mirror. You reflect back to others their hidden longing to be enough. And in trying to impress you, what they're really saying is, I feel your light, and I want to be worthy of standing in it. 12. You feel like an outsider, but still magnetize attention. You don't feel like you fit into the usual social molds. You might sit quietly at the edges of a crowded room, wondering why you never quite blend in. And yet, even in your silence, even in your solitude, people notice you. They glance your way. They feel your presence. They orbit you, even when you aren't trying to attract anyone. This isn't a coincidence. This is the paradox of deep attractiveness that Jung pointed to. He once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. And becoming your true self often means stepping outside the expectations of the group. In a world obsessed with conformity, the one who dares to be authentic, even quietly, even awkwardly, shines like a lighthouse in a fog of sameness." Picture this. You're at a party. Everyone else is laughing too loudly, talking over each other, trying to impress. You sit back. You observe. You don't force yourself into the noise. Maybe you even wonder, why can't I just be like them? Why do I always feel different? And yet, someone, maybe multiple people, find excuses to come stand near you. They ask you odd questions. They smile at you without a clear reason. They sense something rare. Stillness, depth, authenticity, something most people don't even know they're craving. They can't name it, but they feel it. That's your true attractiveness speaking. Jung believed that individuation, the lifelong journey of becoming your real self, naturally separates you from the crowd. You begin living by an inner compass, not by external approval. But here's the twist. Even though this path feels lonely at times, it gives you an irresistible kind of power. You become someone who isn't begging for attention. And that's precisely why you command it. It's the unconscious mind at work again. People are drawn to what feels real, even if they can't explain it. They're tired of masks, tired of performances. They want real, even if real feels unfamiliar and uncomfortable. Sometimes, being magnetizing as an outsider doesn't feel like a blessing. It feels like a burden. You wonder why you can't just blend in. You might even push people away without realizing it, because you're suspicious of their attention. Jung understood this too. He wrote about the loneliness that often comes with individuation. Loneliness does not come from having no people about one, but from being unable to communicate the things that seem important to oneself. You're not too different. You're simply living closer to your true nature than most are willing to. And people are instinctively drawn to that spark, even when words fail, even when you don't believe it's happening. So, if feeling like an outsider is actually a hidden sign of rare attractiveness, how do you fully own that energy instead of hiding from it? How do you move from quiet magnetism to conscious, confident radiance? In the next part, we'll uncover the real steps to integrate your hidden beauty and why embracing your true self could be the most powerful thing you ever do. Now here's the real question. If all of these signs sound familiar, why don't you believe you're attractive? Why is your mind hiding your own radiance from you? The answer might surprise you. If you recognize the signs of attraction we just explored, why do you still doubt yourself? Why do you feel invisible, even when the world sees you shining? Carl Jung believed the answer lies deep in the unconscious mind. Specifically, in something he called the shadow. The shadow is the hidden part of your psyche. All the pieces of yourself you've rejected, denied, or minimized over the years. Not because they're bad, but because somewhere along the way, you were taught they were too much, too different, or not good enough. That includes your natural magnetism, your warmth, your spark, your beauty. When society, family, or past wounds make you believe that shining is dangerous, your unconscious mind buries your radiance to keep you safe. You learn to see yourself through distorted mirrors. Imagine growing up surrounded by cracked mirrors, every reflection showing a broken, incomplete version of who you are. You learn to see flaws first, strength second. You learn to question your value instead of trust it. Even now, when someone stares at you admiringly, a little voice whispers, "They must be looking at something wrong with me." That voice isn't telling you the truth. It's echoing old survival instincts that no longer serve you. Your energy betrays the truth, even when your mind can't see it. Even if your conscious mind says, "I'm nothing special." Your body language, your emotional frequency, and your unconscious energy say otherwise. People are reading your true self, the one you're too humble or too wounded to recognize. Jung taught that the unconscious is always communicating. Even when you doubt your light, the world around you can feel it. Healing your shadow reveals your true attractiveness. Here's the secret. You don't need to become more attractive. You need to remember you already are. Healing your relationship with your shadow, the parts of you you've hidden or disowned, is how you unlock the magnetic power you've had all along. It's about reintegrating your light and realizing that the things you once thought made you different are actually the things that make you unforgettable. You see, attraction isn't about being perfect. It's not about flawless skin, the ideal body, or memorized confidence tricks. It's about being real in a world full of masks. Carl Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." Think about that. Not to become what society expects, not to become what your old wounds tell you, but to become yourself, fully, unapologetically, vulnerably. And that's what makes you magnetic. It's why you might walk into a room in an old hoodie and messy hair and still turn heads without even trying. Because real energy can't be faked. It's why someone can scroll through 1,000 polished photos on social media and still remember the way you laughed at a bad joke 3 months ago. Because real connection leaves fingerprints on the soul. It's why people might be drawn to you even when you feel like a complete mess. Because what they're responding to isn't your surface. It's your truth. You don't have to wait to feel ready. You don't have to look a certain way or achieve a certain goal first. You're already enough. Your shadow, those forgotten parts of yourself, they don't make you less attractive. They make you real, human, irreplaceable. The moment you stop running from who you are is the moment the world truly sees you. If this spoke to something deep inside you, if you felt even a tiny spark of recognition, like maybe, just maybe, you're more powerful than you've ever allowed yourself to believe, then this is just the beginning. We dive into the unseen sides of psychology, energy, and personal awakening every week on this channel. If you're ready to understand yourself and finally be seen for who you are, subscribe right now. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Because trust me, the journey only gets deeper, richer, and more real from here. Your light deserves to be seen. The world is waiting for it. And deep down, so are you.